Alright everybody, you've seen all the introductions. Now it's time to learn about the Explore task. So today we're looking at the Explore performance task. In this video, I will describe what a computing innovation is, describe the two deliverables, get familiar with the scoring rubric, and get a quick peek at the Digital Portfolio website. In the Explore performance task, you will explore a computing innovation of your choice. A computing innovation is something that includes a computer or a program code as an integral part of its functionality. While describing a computing innovation, you need to be able to address these points. What is the innovation's effect, purpose, or function? How could this be beneficial and harmful? What is the impact on society, economy, or culture? How it consumes, produces, or transforms data? And you should also describe data storage, privacy, or a data security concern. Pick one. Now we'll look at two sample projects and see how they meet the points above. One example project used facial recognition software. The purpose of this was detecting a face in an image or video that can be matched from a database and identified. Beneficially, it could lower retail crime. Harmful, it would misidentify people. The effect on society, misidentification could incriminate the wrong person. The data, it takes an image or a video, identifies a face, and links that face to a person. And then the privacy thing people can be tracked all day long, which could be misused. Here's another example project on 3D printers. The purpose of this project is to create a 3D real-world object from computer code. It's beneficial because objects can be made where they are needed. It's harmful because it's not very efficient material-wise, and it does create fumes that have to be dealt with. The effect on society was the excess material is waste that has to be dealt with. How it uses data, you start with a CAD design that's transformed into machine movement to create the object. And the privacy concern is the licensing of the proprietary CAD files might mean you actually don't own the things that you make. The company may actually own them. So before you begin this project, make sure you can fill in the template for your computing innovation. If you can't fill in all the boxes, move on and pick something else. Yes, you will have to do some research for these, and yes, you will have to cite references. There are two deliverables for the Explore performance task: a computational artifact and the written response. There is no collaboration on this project. All work should be your own, and any information or media used should be cited. So let's dive into the computational artifact. The computational artifact is an illustration, representation, or explanation of the computing innovation's intended purpose, its function, or its effect. You also need to describe what your innovation is and what the purpose or function of your innovation is. Don't talk about the features it has, answer the question: what is its purpose, function, or effect? The computational artifact should be primarily non-textual. Acceptable responses, according to the College Board, are either a video, audio, or PDF. Now, I've never seen a sample audio that scores all those points. I have seen videos, and I'm not against them, but the easiest way to do this is to make an image. Just make a poster using PowerPoint or any other image editing software you're comfortable using. To make it into a PDF, insert the image into a Word document or Google Docs, and just save it as a PDF type file. PDF files may be up to 3 pages, but I would not recommend more than 1. If submitting a video or audio, your file must not exceed 1 minute in length and 30 megabytes in size. Here are some tips from the College Board on effective and ineffective artifacts. Effective artifacts include visual, graphical, and/or audio content to help a reader understand the purpose, function, or effect of a computing innovation, and the use of communication media such as animations, comic strips, infographics, and/or public service announcements to illustrate the purpose, function, or effect of a computing innovation. Ineffective artifacts include artifacts that repeat information previously supplied in the written responses, multi-slide presentations with paragraph of text or bullets, artifacts that have not been created by the student, and artifacts that focus on advertising the computing innovation's functionality instead of the purpose of the innovation. So to summarize, your computational artifact should be a video, audio, or image saved as a PDF that both identifies what your computational innovation is and what its purpose, function, or effect is. The second deliverable in the Explore Performance task is the written response. There are 5 prompts to respond to, which are identified as 2A through 2E. Each of them are multi-part, so make sure to address all parts. Question 2A deals with the computational artifact. You must name the computing innovation represented by your artifact, describe the computing innovation's intended purpose or function, and then you need to describe how your computational artifact illustrates, represents, or explains the computing innovation's intended purpose, function, or its effect. This response must not exceed 100 words. In 2B, you will describe the developmental process, explicitly identifying the computing tools and techniques you use to create your artifact. Your description must be detailed enough that a person unfamiliar with these tools and techniques will understand your process, and this response must not exceed 100 words. So basically, tell us what you did to make the computational artifact. 2C comes straight from the written response. Explain at least one beneficial effect and at least one harmful effect the computing innovation has had or has the potential to have on society, economy, or culture. This one can be up to 250 words. Notice the effect that it has on society, economy, or culture. Do the beneficial or harmful effect first, and then have the potential to have branch off of one of those. It should continue the explanation from one of those. 2D, you should describe the data your innovation uses, how the innovation consumes as input, produces as output, or transforms data. You should also mention at least one data storage, data privacy, or data security concern. Okay, now we got to the references. 2E, you need to have at least 3 online or print sources used to create your computational artifact, and you also need to support your responses through in-text citations to the prompts provided in this performance task. I'll leave this slide here so you can read the rest of them. Do note that at least 2 of the sources have to have been created after the end of the previous academic year, so the information should be relatively fresh. Again, if you just use MLA or APA, the work has already been done for you, or you can follow the guidelines as they are here directly. On Moodle and the Digital Portfolio website, you will find a Word document response template. Use of this template is optional, but recommended. When submitting the written response, it must be submitted as a PDF. When complete, take your final product and save as a PDF file for submitting. So to summarize, your written response should address all the 5 points from the directions and be submitted to the Digital Portfolio site. Once you have done both of these, your Explore task is done. Now, let's look at how the Explore task is scored. These are the scoring rubrics for the Explore Performance task. There are 8 rows. Each row is worth 1 point. The task either has it or doesn't have it. There's no partial credit here. So let's look at each row and see how to make sure we get that point. The first row comes directly from the computational artifact. In order to receive this point, the computational artifact must identify the computing innovation, and it must provide an illustration, representation, or explanation of the computing innovation intended purpose, function, or effect. Do not talk about how the thing works. Talk about what its purpose, function, or effect is. Row 2 comes from the written response. Do you state a fact correctly about the identified computing innovation's intended purpose or function? Some of the rows slightly overlap. Row 3 is an example of one of these. For row 3, as long as you identified at least one beneficial or harmful impact of the computing innovation, you will get this row. Row 4 is an extension of row 3. If you have identified a beneficial and a harmful effect, you will get the point for this row. Row 5 also comes from writing prompt 2C, where referring back to your initial beneficial and harmful effects, have you described what effect this is going to have and how it relates to society, economy, or culture. Row 6 responds to 2D from the written response. Have you identified the data that your innovation uses, and have you discussed how data is consumed, produced, or transformed? Row 7 also comes from Written Response 2D. Have you identified one data storage, data privacy, or data security concern, and have you related it to your computing innovation? Row 8 is coming from 2E and your computational artifact, and this gives you credit for properly citing your sources. Finally, all work is submitted on the digital portfolio. Digital portfolio is on the web at digitalportfolio.collegeboard.org. You log into this website as your College Board account, the same you use for SAT and other AP classes. Make sure you can log in. If you can't get in, do not make a new account. Follow College Board's forgot username or forgot password links. Once logged in, you should be able to easily locate the Explore section and be able to upload documents quite easily. Make sure to submit the right documents to the right place. When you upload something, it is a draft. Drafts can be downloaded and replaced by uploading a new document. When your project is complete, you will submit Final and mark that your project is complete. Once marked complete, no further edits are allowed. So now it's time to get started on your Explore task. To give you a grade in the class, there are parts you should have done by certain dates. All times are 11:59 p.m. on the date stated. By Thursday, April 9th, you should have a draft computational artifact submitted to the digital portfolio. Draft only, does not need to be marked as final. By Wednesday, April 15th, a draft written response should be submitted. Again, draft is fine, does not need to be marked as final. By Friday, April 17th, both written response and computational artifacts should be submitted and marked as final. And remember, all work must be submitted to Digital Portfolio and marked as final by Tuesday, May 26th. Do not wait until the last day. There have been issues the last week. Please stick to our timelines. So now it's time for you to get started. Use the template shown to pick a computing innovation. Identify all the points identified there. Record sources as you find them. Then begin creating your computational artifact, making sure that it expresses the purpose or function of your innovation. And finally, from there, you can go address the written response questions. That's enough for me today. Now it's time for you to get to work. So my question for you is, what will your computing innovation be?